My guests today are Robert and Kendra Moore from the Dallas-Fort Worth Airport. Enjoy the conversation. Welcome to the Bridging the Gap podcast. We are recording, obviously, live here at Autodesk University. And Robert and Kendra, thank you so much for taking the time and joining the show today.
Well,
you're welcome.
All right. Well, let's start by taking a minute or so and tell us how you got into the construction industry and what brings you here to AU.
Well, I came to DFW Airport in 1997. I was with a small engineering firm in West Texas, Midland, Odessa, Texas, and for some reason I fell into the engineering world. I don't know how. So I started land surveying out there, moved to Dallas-Fort Worth to be with DFW Airport, was surveying throughout the years, and then in 2017, I was basically voluntold that you're about to take over this new program we run. And I said, what is it? They said, well, it's BIM. I just said, what's BIM? I have no idea what BIM is. And so they like, my VP at the time said, well, I really don't care. I told you taking over it. So 2017.
You got to love those projects.
It's a lot of people don't understand the voluntold aspect. That's how I kind of came into more of the construction technology. But
okay.
On the other side, I've done all the blue top and I've done all of that stuff in the construction.
Yeah.
My story comes about in 2021. My interest comes from him bringing home surveying equipment and seeing all the buttons. All of it is just so interesting. And I'm like, I hope I'm not messing anything up. Nowadays, I'm like, did I? He never said anything.
You just went back later and cleaned it all up.
But in 2021, he had asked me to kind of transform some drone footage, some monitoring footage, and I did it. And it was one of our cargo projects. And so I had asked him, I said, I like doing that. Is this a thing? Can I do this? And he said, yeah, we're going to need more. This program's taken off. I said, okay. And here we go.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So DFW is one of the busiest, largest airports in the world. You are also going through this huge carbon neutral initiative as well, too. How do you manage to strike that balance of trying to create a carbon neutral airport while being super busy and slammed?
It's tough. It's tough because if the passengers aren't flying, if the passengers aren't happy, then guess what? We don't get this carbon neutral that we're after. So our leadership is truly bought into it. And so with them being bought into it, it just makes everything so much easier for us on the funding and on the technology things we need, on the let's find the best resources to elevate us to that point. And if you don't have that executive buy-in, it makes it very hard. And we have enough land and stuff like that to where we can stress sustainability. We can have it to where trucks on construction sites aren't driving 10 miles. They only got to drive like a mile or two.
Mm-hmm.
So things like that where you reduce what they're putting into the atmosphere, into the things like that, just is minimized.
So on the ECUP, tell me about that program. What does ECUP stand for? Well, how does it help you with the sustainability goals?
It stands for Electronic Central Utility Plant. And what it does, we have a existing central utility plant, but it was built in the 70s. And so you can imagine how it's stressed, and you can imagine the resources that's used to run that. And where we are now in 2024, we can't keep stressing those resources. We have to find something that's a little bit more efficient, that's a little bit more that takes away from the things that it puts into the environment.
Mm-hmm.
And so this ECUP, what we were thinking is, how about we get something that can run a little bit more off of natural energy? And if it can run off of natural energy and it can reduce the rigorous hardship that our existing central utility is sustaining, we're fine. So it's a concept we're trying. And at DFW Airport, we're not afraid to try. We're not afraid to fail.
Yeah, I love that.
We're going to see what happens. Right now, in theory, it's supposed to work.
You gotta love theory. That's a good way to live. Okay. So how do you go about getting the buy-in to put the resources and the effort behind it, as well as then creating that mindset of it's okay to fail? Because failures, that's a bad F word in construction.
It is. It is. It's a bad word, but it's a word that I think too many people have too much anxiety about. They run from it. And running from fear of failure is not going to let you make it in technology. We're in technology, dude. We fail. You may have a great day Monday. Tuesday and Wednesday may be the worst day ever. And then Thursday, you're going to have a good day. Friday, who cares? It's the weekend. We already got our mindset.
That's Jenner said it's day by day.
Yeah,
it's like minute by minute.
It's day by day. So throughout the years, some of the different initiatives that we've had at the airport, we've been able to prove to our leadership the value of change, the value of bringing in technology, the value of, if the mandate is 2050, then let's do it by 2030. And if we're going to do it by 2030, what is it that we need to do? And that's how this E-Cup theory came into play. And so with that executive buy-in, they're like, let's build it, let's go for it. Mm-hmm. DFW Airport, man, that's a train running, man, and they don't want that train to stop.
Yeah, that's awesome and super ambitious. Okay, so how did it come about of the end goal for net zero is 2050? Who was like, yeah, let's do it 2 decades earlier, which is 6 years, not even 5 years.
You would laugh, but we have an aggressive CEO who's very technology minded.
Nice.
Yeah, who's very technology minded. And I hate to say this, he might see this.
It's just between us.
He might see this, but that aggression has us trying to meet some goals that almost don't look attainable. But if you don't try, how do we know if we can make it or not?
Right.
And so he just said, hey, I want it by 2030. And so we said, he looked at us and said, what do we need to do to make it? And so I don't know about you, but I have grown man bills. And so if I'm going to pay my bills and this is what that man said he wants,
you're going to do it.
We have to find a way.
Yeah, I love that. Grown man bills. I like it. Yeah. I mean, I think the honest thing is, though, that when you create those seemingly, maybe overly ambitious goals, that's when you actually get it done. That if you have a bigger, broader timeline, it's easier to rest on your laurels. Yes. And be like, oh no, I got time for that. I was thinking of while you were talking was the moonshot. When JFK threw up the moonshot, people were like, you're crazy. There's no way we're going to be able to do it. And yet they accomplished it. So you got to have be aggressive with it.
Yeah, go for it, man. Don't be scared. Jump off the ledge, and you may land on water, you may land on a rock, but you got to jump.
Yeah, I like it. So we're here at Autodesk University, obviously. So how has Autodesk Construction Cloud, how have you guys been able to leverage that to help you with these goals? And the microphone moves.
So Autodesk has really allowed us to streamline our information, right? Autodesk is look at it. Look at this. It's crazy. The processes are there when it comes to design. The processes are there when it comes to construction. So how do we do that together? And at DFW, we marry them very often. And so using Autodesk products has really allowed us to share that information from platform to platform and also to put it on display. Like he said, our leadership is very expectation heavy. I want this done. And in order to do that, we have to get the field guys, the designers, the project management, we have to get all of those pieces a well-oiled machine, right? And how to do that is you combine them and you make them work together. And in order to do that, we use Autodesk for one, because they all talk. And that plays a huge role, because when things aren't communicating, that's when things break down.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So that interconnectivity is huge. Obviously, how did you go about the training and developing the process to get everybody on board with using new technology and getting comfortable with that?
Well, it's funny you asked that. I know I told you about our CEO is very aggressive, but I'm aggressive too.
It takes one to know one is what you're saying there.
I'm very aggressive myself. And so our executive vice president, when we started this program, he saw the things that I was going through, trying to get the program up and running, trying to make sure that everything had the interoperability, all of the things that was needed. And he always told me, he said, if I ever make it to EVP, you won't have to worry no more. Well, he made it to EVP. And with that, he said, whatever you need, you let me know.
Nice.
And he said, I work out with him too. So that's a plus. And then he also said, hey, push the envelope. And so if he's going to allow me to push the envelope, I am going to press my team. I challenge my team. If you cannot accept technology, if you can't work within the workflows to get us to where everything is working in that interoperability environment, then I don't need you on this team. So that aggression makes that team have to really get on it and do things that they didn't think they could achieve, but they are doing.
Mm-hmm.
And when he says like he pushes the team, it's very true. The reason why we work is because, just like I said with the products, right? They all kind of talk, they all communicate. Well, there's not two of us that do the same thing on this team, right? There's 20 of us, and you see us moving from office to office, person to person. Hey, I need your help. Hop on this call. I need this. Hop on this call. There's pieces that he's putting together on this team that fulfill the goal and push the envelope. And it is also bridging the gap.
We need a job.
It's bridging the gaps, and we're filling in those pieces because they didn't exist, you know, and the expectation, if it's there and you're being told, push the envelope, hey, let's take it and let's run with it, because there's no one to lean on to say, hey, I need your experience. We are that experience. And in DFW Airport, who do we look to? We look to this man right here. We look to Robert Brown. Hey, let's do this. And he's all for it. He's at our backs. He's saying, let's go for it.
That's awesome. So I'd love to hear your insights, because I think that you guys can help maybe bust a myth that is out there, that the interoperability and the interconnectedness of all the different data and technology and platforms is hype. It doesn't really maybe exist in reality yet. You guys are case point that that's not true. So I'd love to kind of toss you up a softball maybe.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm a fisherman. Okay, so let's reel this back in.
Let's do it.
So you're saying that people say that it's not possible to have interoperability?
Yeah, that it's maybe coming out. They're scared that it's not really going to all talk to each other yet.
Cannot buy into that, because let's think Autodesk for a second. If I have Revit, if I have ACC, and if I have Tandem, that means I have what? I have everything that has taken me from the design and construction all the way into a digital twin, into operation and maintenance. So say that again. I want to hear you say that again, because that's not true.
Yeah. Well, I think how you just laid it out there is the mindset that you have to get in, that people, they're trying to use one single solitary tool and expect it to work miracles and do the whole process. And obviously that's not the reality of the situation. You have to get multiple tools to be able to talk to each other and be on the same platform, which makes the Autodesk platform basis so successful with it. So you brought up Tandem, goes to digital twins. How are you guys leveraging digital twins and Tandem?
Well, I brought it up because we require our designers to upload models by close of business on Friday.
Okay.
So we give them seats on ACC. While we going through the design and construction process, I can already have those models linked up in Tandem from ACC, where it automatically updates, and where we can set up our dashboard to do our validation checks and things like that. It's almost shooting yourself in the foot not to have that whole interoperability piece. So why would I have a Revit? Why would I have Revit with BIM Cloud Collaborate that automatically sends the model? Then why wouldn't I have something that automatically extracts that model out for our end game? If my end game is to have a digital twin, I don't want to wait till the end to start doing it. It has to happen all along the way. And that's what the ability of the Revit, Civil 3D, ACC, Tandem, or whatever platform. I mean, you got to have a flow that you want to use.
No, I think that's super, super critical there. So in terms of kind of mirroring all this together, what kind of recommendations would you give to people that are trying to be ambitious, trying to set up all this technology, and they're just kind of overwhelmed or maybe even nervous of how do I go about this? What's the low hanging fruit?
We've been through the fire. We've been on the hot coals for a long time, right? Yeah. Where we are in 2024, where ACC, where Revit is, I don't understand how we would have to make such an argument or have to coerce somebody, because it's so easy, and it makes if you're on the owner side, it makes everything so seamless for you to oversee your project. That's the way we present it to people, is if you want control of your project, if you want to get a good product into your hands for your operation and maintenance, these are some of the platforms and programs that you must have that link up to each other, that has APIs, that allow us to integrate into other things to be able to pull data. And I hate to say pull data, because that's a whole nother conversation. People just hear data and they don't understand. When you pull data, we have to make sure that the data is what we want it to be. You can't just get a whole glob of data. So being able to have all of that and get everything situated and straight to have a good deliverable is an easy sell to sit somebody down and show them this is how we're achieving it.
Also, I think it's more of from the perspective of an owner, in order to kind of get someone to see that easiness and the reasoning behind it is just really to show them, right? Because when we ask of things, we ask designers for things, and we ask for very specific things. The reason being is when it comes to the technology, it all has to work, because, hey, at the end of the day, we're asking for it. This is our product. We're paying for it. We expect it to be right. And in order to do that, we lay out what we need from you. And hey, this is the best way. We're here to help you along the way. We don't want you to fail. We are not setting you up for failure at all, but this is the way we have learned that it works best. This is how we learn that we are going to receive what we need for our infrastructure department. Hey, make it happen.
I'm laughing because they always get on me and they said, you say things and make it sound so easy.
Just do it. I mean, come on.
So we're sitting and we have these team meetings. I'm like, all you do is this, and that. And they said, you make it seem so easy.
Yeah.
So when she was sitting there, I was like, maybe I do think things.
It's okay. There's worse things to be, I guess. All right, so let's put the crystal ball on the table here. It's 2030. You guys have done it. You've accomplished net zero. What next? What does that mean for the future of projects and infrastructure?
Man, I don't know. I've always prided myself on being able to answer questions. That one, brother, I don't know, because all the things that we have going at the airport right now, by 2030, we literally will look like a brand new airport. We have our main International Parkway is what we call it, that leads to all the terminals. All of those are left exit. Well, our CEO don't like left exits. So guess what? We have to go and make all of those right exits. And we're doing 2 terminals. We have a lot of landside projects. It literally, when I did a campus 4D model of all our projects, we will have literally a brand new airport in 2030. Whoever our CEO is at the time is going to look in and go, I don't know what to do now. And so that's all.
I guess it depends on 2030, right?
Yeah.
Like what's going on in 2030? I know right now we have the goal by 2050, right? That's the overall goal, but DFW said, no. And so in 2030, they're probably going to be a new one by 2060 and no, 2050, 2040. So it definitely probably will depend on what's going on that year.
Yeah, makes sense.
I'm glad you asked that, because when I get back, I'm surely going to ask, one of the guys who was stressing that is our VP, our environmental affairs department. And me and him talk about digital twins so much. I've never asked him that. Thank you. I'm like,
There you go. So it's a freebie. It's on the house. Okay.
I need to
Next
know
one
when
I'm
I
charging
get
for. I got those, grown man bills.
Wow.
Bring it around. Yeah, that's a call back there for you. So a couple of rapid fire questions for you as we start to land the plane. No pun intended here. So the first one, what does the phrase modeling the future, does that kind of bring up in your mind?
In the future. Wow. There's so many ways that I can think of that. If I'm thinking our highest cost that we incur is on our operation and maintenance.
Mhm.
So that's just, to me, making it to where our field techs has a means of mobile devices where everything is mapped out for them to be able to have the right equipment to go fix that, the right location, have the mindset on if that air handling unit needs to be changed. These are the things that I need in place to make that happen. So that's a broad statement in aviation. My mindset thinks of right now is just modeling the futures. Hey, let's make sure that what we are doing in aviation takes into account the environment, the people, and just things like you got me on this. That's the second one.
That's why I saved them for the end. Okay, I just started punching you.
Trying to strike me out now. Hey, but no, that's a broad question, and you gotta think of the holistic solution on what exactly it means to model the future. Because we could ask 4 different CEOs or it's higher level executive. Every one of them is gonna have a different answer because it's gonna be based off of what their main pain points are of what's under them.
Yeah. What about innovation? That's a huge topic that we love to dive into. You guys are very innovative. How would you define the word innovation?
I like that one. Now I can answer that.
Okay, let's hear it. Darn it. I'm saying for 3 for 3.
That one right there, I knocked that one out before. Innovation is, don't laugh, but it's more than credit card machines.
You told me not to laugh, so I'm waiting.
It's more than just credit card machine. It's finding better ways to handle day-to-day business practices. It's finding better ways to help modelers model better. It's finding ways to, I don't know if you ever listened to the women's head basketball coach at Duke, but she has this video and it says, handle hard better. It's being able to take that phrase and be able to take innovation or technology things that make handling hard better. And if you can bridge that gap between handling,
you get the belt wrong too.
Between handling things hard better, finding things that make that process easier, to me, that's what innovation is.
It's a good one, though. I'm a South Carolina Gamecocks, so it would have been better if you quoted Don for me, but that's okay. That's okay. I'll forgive you. How would you define innovation, Kendra?
Innovation to me is really how we transform the now. So what we're undergoing, what we're seeing, what I've seen here, this is my very first AU and I've already got things rolling, right? My mind is going. And I do believe that's the source of innovation is how do we progress the now? How do we change what's working into something that works better? How do we change our past and make it our future? How do we even get to the future? So innovation to me is really just changing the now and making it better for everyone, making it better for our kids. I think of my kid and I'm just like, let's innovate, let's do stuff. And she's like, what does that mean? Let's change things for better. Let's make it new. Let's make something old new.
Love that. How do people find out more information or connect with either of you?
Well, come see us at DFW Airport. LinkedIn. Yeah, both of us are on LinkedIn. Kendra Brown, Robert Brown.
Yeah, come on. Just fly onto the airport and just when you fly in, just say, this is where Robert Brown is, and I'll feel it.
You feel the energy. I like it. Okay.
No, we're both.
Next time I'm flying in, I'm just going to be,
hey, dude, get over here. No, just LinkedIn is the best way for both of us.
Okay, awesome. Well, final question for you. If I could give you all construction power, you could snap your fingers and innovate one thing, what would you pick to innovate?
I'll go. I would make everything more accessible. I have a brother-in-law. He is a paraplegic, and he does oftentimes parking. From parking to living is not always the most area that is targeted for innovation. And so to really kind of change the mindset for creators and innovators around the construction industry to kind of fit that and bridge the gap, fill in those gaps, and kind of say, how do we involve absolutely everyone? And to really make this world more accessible, and even the daily task. You go through apartment buildings, they typically have 1 or 2 accessible apartments, right? And so to kind of think on the outside of the box and outside the norm, you know, of the people around. And I've seen a couple of wheelchair users here, and I've been wanting to ask them, where are you coming in? You know, like, how has this been accessible for you? And I know oftentimes that's the first thing on my mind when I'm parking. When I'm walking up a ramp, I'm like, I don't need to use the ramp. I can use the stairs. So to really kind of find that middle ground, and even not even middle ground, take off with it, you know, figure out ways to make that not a second thought, or not make it a regulation, kind of make it just, that's just what we do. And that's how we do it, is for everyone.
That's good.
I just want to get on I'm on a drone that I can sit in and take off and get to my mom and dad's house pretty quick. So I want the simple things, you know. I don't want to have to fly. I don't want to have to wait in line.
Yeah.
I just want to go take off. Hey, I'm going to mom's, because my parents have gotten older. It's just better transportation. I'd like better transportation that is not as regulated. I mean, I'm not saying that we don't need regulation, but man, that manned drone, I'm waiting on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jetsons will come one day.
I'm waiting on that.
Nice. Well, Robert, Kendra, thank you so much for taking the time. This was a blast.
Thank you.
Awesome.